Time to talk about your branch interviews. Unlike enlisted personnel, when they join the Army, they sign a contract and they know exactly what job they are going into. For you, as a cadet who is going to be an officer in one of the Army branches, you do not know which branch you're going to go into. There is a whole interview process you have to go through, and eventually a branch will select you. Before you begin, I recommend checking out these two videos. They were very helpful for me when I first was learning about the whole branch interview process. Alright, you are going to have a few months during your third year to complete your interviews. Typically, this is something cadets like to do just before or just after they go to advanced camp. A website that you will use is branching-rotc.army.mil. After accessing the website, you should complete your tab. This is your talent assessment battery. This is a self-assessment that you will do that will give you an idea for which branch might be good for you. Take note that the branches also have access to this information, so they might look at the results from your assessment to determine whether you are right for them or not. When you answer those questions for the tab, they are supposed to be honest. However, if you know that you really want to go to a certain branch, go ahead and select the answers that align the best with that branch. Then there's also the virtual branch outreach, or the VBO website. This is where you're going to learn more about the branches. There's going to be some live streams happening on this website. You can go on there, watch the live streams, ask the professionals some questions, and just get a better idea of what the branch is going to be like. I understand when you go through the interview process, all the information that you put into your talent-based profiles, the results from your tab assessment, and of course the interviews themselves, all of these can be taken into account by the branches. So you want to make sure that you upload some accurate information about yourself. You want to upload the skills you have, upload classes from a transcript, extracurricular activities, clubs, jobs, etc. Alright, let's talk a little bit more about the actual interviews themselves. These interviews are recorded sessions. They're not going to be live. You're not going to be talking to someone live. What it looks like is that you sit down behind your computer, you put on your web camera, you start the interview, you're going to have a few seconds or a few minutes to read a question, formulate your response, and then the camera will start recording and you just talk to the camera and answer the question. Depending on the branch that you're interviewing with, the questions could be video responses, they could have written responses, or they could have a combination of both. Obviously, if you are interviewing for a technical branch, something like cyber or signal, you're probably going to be asked some technical questions. When you go back onto that VBO, the virtual branch outreach website, and you watch the videos for the different branches, something that you might find is the storyboard. A storyboard outlines exactly what that branch is looking for in their offices. So when you're doing the interview process, sometimes the questions relate directly to the storyboard. Now, let's talk about some tips. At some point in the summer, usually the questions for all the interviews will be released by someone. So I recommend before you go ahead and do these interviews that you wait for the questions to be released so you have a good idea on what to expect and then do your interview. Make sure that you also use a decent web camera. You're going to want to have some nice lighting. The background shouldn't be distracting. You want to wear some type of formal clothing, and you want to present a professional image. Make sure when you're answering the questions, don't read from a script. This needs to be a genuine connection between you and the interviewer. Also, although you have the ability to interview with every branch out there, you do not have to do that at all. I know people who interviewed with only one branch, the branch that they wanted. And I know people who interviewed with 7 branches, or, well, maybe even all of them. If there is a certain branch that you do not want at all, I highly recommend that you do not interview with them. When you interview with the branch, it tells them that you are interested. So if there is a branch that you want to avoid, just ignore them. Alright, that's it for this video. I hope it was helpful. I hope that your interviews go well and ultimately get the branch that you want. Alright, cheers guys. Have a good day.